So here I am, awake to what was always true. My beginning was in you, who called me yours before I knew.
He was the center all along. Gratitude, Devotional Series, Episode 5. So here I am, awake to what was always true. My beginning was in you, who called me yours before I knew. Something just shifted in the song, and it happens in 3 small words. So here I am. For an entire verse, every line has pointed backward, before my breath, before my name, before a single step, before the ages began. The whole movement has lived in the past, in eternity, in the long ago of God's love. And then, without warning, the song lands in the present. So here I am, now, awake. This is the hinge of the movement. Everything before this was about what God did while we were not yet here to see it. This is the moment we open our eyes, and what we see is not one new fact. It is a whole new center. Because there are 2 kinds of waking. There is the small kind, where you learn a single new thing and set it on the shelf beside everything you already knew. And then there is the large kind, the kind that does not add a fact, but rearranges all of them. You see the same world you have always seen, but suddenly from a different center, and nothing sits where it used to. This is the second kind. The singer is not reporting that they picked up a new piece of information about God. They are describing the moment the floor of reality shifted beneath them, and everything they had ever known reorganized around a center that was not themselves. Listen to what they say they woke up to. My beginning was in you. Not my beginning was in my parents, or in good fortune, or in the slow turning of time, though that is where we usually imagine it. My beginning was in you. And once a person says that about their beginning, they cannot stop there, because the same turns out to be true of everything else. If your beginning is in Him, then so is every day that has followed it, and so is the day you are standing in right now, and so is the day you have not yet reached. Everything that has happened to you, everything happening to you, everything that ever will, all of it sourced in Him, all of it sustained by Him, all of it bending back toward Him as its reason and its end. This is the truth the singer has come awake to, and it is the very truth we heard at the opening of this song when we borrowed Paul's words. From Him and through Him and to Him are all things. Romans 11:36. At the start, that was a sentence to admire. Here, it has become a place to live. From Him, that is your source. Through Him, that is your sustaining, every moment of it. To Him, that is where the whole of it is going. The singer has woken up inside that sentence and realized it was describing them the entire time. And here is what makes this the most freeing thing a person can realize, rather than a crushing one. We spend our lives quietly assuming that we are the center, that our life is the main story, and God, if He is anywhere, is out at the edge of it, a resource we reach for when the main story runs into trouble. To wake up and find it is the other way around, that He is the center, and we are the ones in orbit around Him, sounds at first like a demotion. It is the opposite. It is the end of an exhausting illusion. You were never strong enough to be the center of anything. The weight of being your own source, your own meaning, your own endpoint was always going to crush you, and somewhere underneath you always knew it. To wake up and find that God has been the center all along is to feel that weight slide off. To learn that the universe does not, after all, rest on your shoulders, because it rests on His, and always has. In Him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. We always did. We are only now awake to it. And that is the other half of the line, the half the singer is careful not to skip, to what was always true. This is not a truth that came into being the moment it was noticed. God did not become the source of your life on the day you finally believed He was. He was the source the whole time, through every year you spent assuming otherwise. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end.
Revelation 22:13. And he was all of that before, during, and after every moment of your unawareness. Your waking did not create the center. It only brought you, at last, to see the center that had been holding everything, including you, the entire time. That is why this line carries such wonder. It is not the thin satisfaction of having decided something. It is the awe of having discovered something enormous that was true before you, beneath you, around you, all along.
But a realization this large could leave a person cold. To learn that you are a small thing in orbit around an infinite center could feel like being told you are nothing at all. So the song refuses to leave the truth out in the cold of bare sovereignty. The second line reaches down and ties the whole vast thing to you, personally and warmly. Who called me yours before I knew? This is the line that keeps the awakening from turning into terror. Because the God at the center of all things, the source and the end of everything that exists, is not a blind force or a cold first principle. He is a person, and he knew you. From his place outside of time, seeing every point of your life at once, your beginning and your end and every ordinary hour between, he looked across the whole of it and called you his. Before you knew him, before you knew any of this, while you were still asleep at the center of your own small story, the true center of everything had already spoken your name in love. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. Psalm 139:1. Known you completely, at every point in your life at once, with a knowledge too wonderful to hold. And not merely known, called. You who were once in darkness were called out of it into his marvelous light. 1 Peter 2:9. Hear what this is and what it is not. It is not the vague idea that everyone is simply swept up into God whether they know him or not. It is something far more deliberate and far more personal than that. It is the staggering, particular fact that the God who holds all things together bent his infinite attention toward you, specifically, in love, across the whole reach of eternity, from all your past to all your future, every point of you at once before his eyes, and called you by name to himself. To him. Of all the things the source of everything could want, he wanted you to find your way home. So set the two lines side by side and you have the whole shape of the awakening. The first opens your eyes wide enough to see that God is the center, the source, the end of everything. That this was always true, and you are only now awake to it. The second leans in close and tells you that this same God, the center of all that is, has loved you and called you by name since before you knew there was anyone there to know. The vastness and the tenderness in two lines holding hands. And when both of those land on a person at the same moment, that he is everything, and that this everything wanted me, there is only one thing the heart knows how to do. It is the very next thing the song does. It says, thank you. That is where we go now. You woke up, and what you woke to was this. He was the center all along, and from that center, he has been calling you home.
When time itself has spoken every word, and all creation breathes its final phrase,